Welcome to Bay Rats and Buoys with your host, Captain Gage.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gage. This is episode number 21, brought to you in part by Cito Huntington. Are you a member? Visit Cito.com to join today. Also, Clicks Fueling. Visit clicksfueling.com. What's up, everybody? I can't believe we are just 40 days away from opening day for striped bass. I can't believe tomorrow's going to be in the 30s, 39 days until opening day, and the countdown is on. It's real. We have a couple of days next week where it's going to be 50 degrees, 5 days in a row. That gets me excited. Then I want to uncover the boat. When it's 55 degrees, I'm ready to take the cover off. But I'm going to wait a little closer towards the end of March, into the third week at least. So this past weekend, Saturday, it was great to see everybody at the Ward Melville High School Fishing Club Expo and Fundraiser. That was awesome. Big round of applause to Bob Wilson and the crew over there from the Patriots Fishing Club. You guys were awesome. Great job putting on an amazing show every year. And normally I just attend the show, so I love coming to the show. But this year I love being in the gymnasium. I don't know if you got to see. We had our setup there. It was a little tight. You're going to see later on after this, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to put on a segment that I recorded with Jeremiah, who was the president of the Patriots Fishing Club, and you guys can check out what he has to say about the Patriots Fishing Club and give you some more details and information about it. It was an awesome little 9-minute segment that we did, but again, it was pretty tight, so the microphones are in our face. We were squeezed into like a 4-foot area, because we had a table in the booth and whatnot, so we can give away some stickers to any of the Bay Rats and Buoys fans that stopped by. And that's another thing. It was great meeting people. It really was. Whether it was Manny, Frank said we were 90% of the reason that he even showed up and came to the show. So that was really cool. Frank, great meeting you. Kevin stopped by the booth and dropped off a couple of pieces of paper of some books that I got to get and contact authors and some great stuff like that. He wants to bring a few of his friends on the boat for Sand City Charter. He was warning me already. There's going to be a lot of ball breaking going on, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We welcome that, Kevin, no problem. It was great seeing. So we put a video out. It was great seeing everybody, I got a chance to talk with Adam over the Tuna Cartel, and, we both shared the same concern about the water temperature right now and the freezing of the harbors and some of the bays, because we haven't had that in a few years where we had so many, nights that it was frozen, that the water stayed, frozen. So let's see how that affects the water temperature come April, and if the bite turns on like it normally does. I got my captain's log. I know the days that I'm out there, and let's see how it matches up. See if we're right on schedule. Maybe we're behind a little bit. We don't know when they're going to start chewing. I always like to say the magic number for the water temp is usually around 55. But we do catch them when it's colder than that. And this guy's catching bass right now in cold water. This cold water bass, they're feeding, and they're here. They're around. Just got to look for them. There's definitely holdover fish, too. So guys that start the season early, get out there, can definitely hook up. And it was great seeing everybody. So I put up a video the next day. I got home, edited just something up a little quick, and plugged a few of the people in there. But at the same time, guys, we didn't walk around the whole show with the GoPro and film everybody that was there. So if you're not in the video, we couldn't film everybody. And maybe next year we'll make it our business to make a little bit of a bigger production out of the video and see if we can actually do some podcasting from within our setup. This year it was really a nice test to get there and see what we were capable of. And Bob, it was awesome. Great seeing Tom Schlichter and everybody there. It was really fun. And Dave Flanagan, who I put in the intro of the video. So I'll throw it up here on the screen. You guys, if you saw the video, went around Facebook, and just a ton of fun. It was great seeing everybody. So now it's back to reality. We did pick up a couple of things. We didn't get anything crazy. I couldn't find the RH rods. And my boy Kenny was there with his brother-in-law. Like I said, they were coming. And he was the one that turned me on to that rod. And it was from a company that comes to the show from New Jersey. And he said he wasn't there. But he did see in the cafeteria another company that had some RH rods, RH Customs, and it's just a really skinny, thin, light rod, and I just love catching fish on it in my area because it handles anything, doesn't matter what. I put a Stratic on it, and it's nice. It's super light, ton of fun, and basically I can handle any fish with it, so it's a great little setup. So I was looking to pick up a couple more, but he wasn't there, so we did pick up a few lures. We did meet some great people, like Simon over at Major Craft, and that was awesome. So we did see some really cool stuff. There's definitely some new cool stuff out there, and there always is, and you really got to look for it, you know? You can get some good deals there, and it's a great show. It really is. Ton of vendors, and it was a lot of fun. And, of course, we had the pizza off the pizza truck. And can't wait for next year. Hopefully we'll get that invite again to be able to get back there and do some podcasting on another level and really make it a fun time. So we are now gearing up. I'm ready to uncover the boat. I'm making appointments. I'm scheduling detailing. I'm scheduling the mechanics. You know, we're ordering parts and getting things ready because now it's crunch time. This is it, you know. Now we're down to the last 4 weeks until we're about to launch the boat, even less, you know. So it's 40 days until opening day as of right now, Thursday today. And I'm going to put this podcast up today. Stick around to the end and you'll listen to Jeremiah, who was the president of the fishing club, the Patriots Fishing Club from the Ward Melville High School. And me and him got to do a nice little segment. And like I said, it was a little tight, so the mics are in our faces. But I know I was able to get good audio quality in the gymnasium. So to me, that's really all that matters. Being able to see a video is just a little bit of a perk, you know, especially with a podcast. Most podcasts are audio. I happen to like doing everything video and audio combined. We're rocking the new 4K camera, and we got a new display screen up there. We had the new gyroscope going. We didn't get to use that at the show, though, because I literally had gotten it like 2 or 3 days before. So by the time you set it up and learn how to use it, so that's why we walked around filming with the GoPro at the show, which, again, you know, shooting in 4K, it does great quality, and you're always going to get a decent product. We use that on the boat a lot, you know, so we don't set up big fancy cameras on the boat. We're using GoPros because who cares if they go in the water? They can go in the water. We put them underwater to get good underwater fish shots when we got bass on the line, and, you know, we're just releasing them or we're tagging them, and Bay Rats and Buoys, we are going to do a tournament at the end of June. We're going to try to lock it up the last Saturday in June. I think that's June 28th, if I'm not mistaken, 27th or 28th. That Saturday, we're going to try to do a private little tournament in Huntington. You know, get 20 or so boats, meet out in the bay. I was speaking to a couple of the guys in my marina today. Big Joe gave me a call. He needs a hand putting together some of the anchor line to get through his windlass and hook up a new anchor and some new lines. So he calls me up and asks if I could work on that for him, because that stuff's pretty easy. It's a lot of fun, and I did it for him last time, so I'm always obliged to help out any of the guys in my marina for sure. And he said, yeah, hell yeah, he's in. Count him in, 100%. So that was nice to hear. As we spread the word and get more people on the list, I got more people saying yes, you know, almost right away. It's a matter of can you make the date. So it's going to be a striped bass fishing tournament. Leaving out of Huntington, we'll meet out in the bay there. We'll meet out in Huntington Bay. And if you are interested, it doesn't matter what size boat you have. If you're interested in participating, hit me up. I'll put the information here on the screen or in the description to this video on YouTube. So if you've seen it on Facebook, head on over to sandcitycharter.com because all the information will be there. That's also the best place to watch this video on YouTube. I do share it in the Facebook groups to get it out there. And Again, a big shout out to the Facebook admins. You guys are awesome. The Ward Melville show, the video that I made for that, I didn't share it into all the fishing groups. I put it in the local groups pretty much for Long Island just to help promote it. And Bob, next year, will make you a nice commercial out of all that footage. We definitely got some really, really good footage to whip you up a nice advertisement for next year's show. It's funny. He sent out a message in a post saying that the kids that run the club, they had the fishing club, they had such a good time that they love doing it, that they want to do another fishing show. And Bob was like, yeah, no. Because there is a ton of work that goes into organizing and planning this and pulling it off, you know. Those kids are out there with the carts in the parking lot looking to help you load in, which I got to say is exactly like the union workers did at the Jacob Javits show, at the boat show. You know, those union workers are all standing there with the carts ready to take all your stuff and bring it over to your booth for you to help you out. They got forklifts to carry pallets with heavy stuff and go drop it in the aisle by your booth. It's a very well-run show for the NMMA, okay? The National Marine Manufacturers Association. So I got to say, Bob, your kids did just as good of a job that they did at the Javits Center and the union workers. They were a big help, and it was really great to see. So I'm happy that I was able to get Jeremiah, the president of the fishing club, on the podcast to be able to promote the club and help it grow, and anything I could do, anytime to help kids that are learning how to fish or looking to fish, we're always willing and able, that's for sure. So it was great having him on. I said to Bob, he was great on the mic, so you guys will hear him. At the end of this segment, I will go right into the 9-minute piece that you can listen to Jeremiah, the president of the Patriots Fishing Club from the Ward Melville High School. All right. So what else is going on in the fishing and boating industry? We got another boat show coming up this weekend at the Coliseum. I've worked that one a couple of times with Freedom Boat Club, and I don't think I'm going to be attending it this year. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. We just had a busy week of productions. Tuesday, we were on location doing a podcast. Wednesday, we were on location filming, doing all kinds of stuff. So it's just been a crazy week. It's Thursday, and I'm in the studio where I'm usually in the studio on Wednesday. So I'm literally filming this thing and shooting it out on the internet and getting it up pretty quickly tonight, which is exciting. And I don't know, my day of Wednesday record it and Thursday post it, which is what I like. I like a little cushion in between there. Because again, there's a lot involved, Everybody thinks you sit down in front of a microphone and talk for a little bit and put the audio and the video together and put it up, but there's a lot of work involved. There is, and moving forward, we can't wait to get out there and get on the bass. Talking to guys where to go, like Manny and Frank, and we had some really cool conversations about where we're all going opening day. And, most likely the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. I know Sand City always has charters that first week. The diehard striped bass guys want to get out. But I do know this, April 15th, I don't know what day it falls on, but I know that it was still available. And last time I looked. So anybody looking to get out on opening day, you could jump on that chance. I think that we still have that one still available. Anyway, we were talking about different spots that we're going to go and fish. And I'd love to hear in the comments where you guys are from and where you fish. Because I'll tell you right now, 20% of the listeners on Bay Rats and Buoys are in Brooklyn. And that is really cool to hear, especially because I lived in Sheepshead Bay and know Brooklyn really, really well. I moved out of Manhattan at a young age, back to Brooklyn, and then made my way back to Long Island. So I went from Manhattan to Brooklyn, back to my home stomping grounds, with a lot of places in between there, which, I had I love what I did. It was awesome. So I love being that I lived in Brooklyn. I was right behind the Rolling Roaster. So anybody knows cheese fries at the Rolling Roaster, geez, I could have walked there to get the cheese fries and the roast beef sandwich. Anyway, we do have 20% of the listeners in Brooklyn. So I'd love to hear where you guys are fishing. On opening day, where are you guys going? Me and Manny were talking about it. Me and Frank were talking about it. And it was really cool to have a bunch of kids stop by and show me pictures of their striped bass and their bluefish. And I'm grabbing their phone and I'm zooming in because they're very excited to show it to me. And I was excited to see it. And I was excited to know that they listened to the show every single week. And I think they were from Rocky Point, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but if you guys are listening, hit me up in those comments. That's the best way to communicate with me. And tell me where you're fishing. Opening day, I'd love to hear. What are you going to use for bait? I'll tell you. And we're going to have videos as they get closer to where I'm going to be showing you guys exactly what we use when we get out there and what we're going to throw at them and how we're going to go look for them, which is most important, is how to find them on opening day because they're out there. They're probably here right now. There's holdover fish, and I know where they are. I know where the bass holes are in the wintertime, and I don't start over there. I don't. I actually go look for them in different areas, and we usually find the 20-pounders pretty quickly. The one year, the 16th, the 16th we got out there, and I was telling people at the show, one of the biggest signs that put me on fish for the past few years isn't working birds. It's the opposite. It was the birds sitting in the water because they knew the fish were there. They knew they were there. And all I did was pull up. And when I tell you my sonar, I'll put the picture up here on the screen. I mean, this is what the sonar looked like, and we were using flutter spoons on light tackle, and you could have got broke off. You could have got broke off. I actually switched to a heavier rod because they were 30-pound bass. They were some big bass, and I don't really want to play the fish and tire them out. I'd rather be able to get them in that case. But it was a ton of fun. I think Corey snapped a rod. I don't know if he snapped it that day or that week. But he definitely broke a rod, which was kind of cool. And it was a rod from France. And we made fun of him for fishing with a French rod. But I got to give him credit because he tries fishing with everything. We're going to even use those bait runners, the Zebcos, and the mini rods and the setups. And we're going to try to land fish with them. Just put a nice reel with 20-pound braid on it and see if the rod can handle getting those fish in. We know the reel will be able to work it in, so that's the good news. But in the sonar here, 20 to 30 pounders on opening day, 15th and 16th. And it's been every year. Every year we're finding them in our area right away. And I'm excited to see if this year it's going to be the same. We don't know. They might not be here. They might be a week late. Last year, I told you, we pulled out. We saw the seal. We turned around. We went into the back. And we got them. And they were decent size. Those were no holdover fish that were there. These fish that were there were pretty big, which was really cool. And again, they were very selective on one color. They weren't hitting everything that we threw at them. So it's time to prep the boat. We're getting stuff ready. I got to think, what else do I need to do? I'm all lined up. Everything's all lined up. Let me know if you guys are interested in jumping in the end of June. If you want to jump into a striped bass tournament in my area. We'd like to start off and keep it local, but if there's guys that could bring their boat over from Smithtown or St. James, Mount Sinai, you got to want to come across from the Connecticut side. We really don't care where you're from. But we are offering it right away to the local guys, spreading the word out. And Everybody said yes so far, so we're pretty excited about that. I think we're going to have a good time. That's what it's going to be all about, having a good time. And we'll explain, as we get into May, we'll explain the rules on how we're going to come up with the biggest fish and measure it and do all of that stuff, a little bit of the regulations for it. Because you know what? If you catch it over, you got to release it. So you're obviously not going to be able to bring it to a weigh station. So we're working out all the kinks and the details to that stuff so that we can actually have a winner. I doubt two people are going to catch the same size bass. And if it comes down to that, then maybe it'll be girth or something along those lines. So we're pretty excited. Can't wait. And I hope you guys get excited too, man. Season is right around the corner. And I'm going to pass it over now to Jeremiah and the little segment that we did at the Ward Melville High School Fishing Club Expo and fundraiser. That was last Saturday, March 1st. Kudos to Jeremiah. He did a great job on the microphone, answering any of the questions and telling you and giving you all the information about his fishing club. So stay tuned in. I'm going to pass it over to Jeremiah myself over at the Ward Melville High School Fishing Club. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gage, and I am here at the Ward Melville High School Fishing Club Expo and fundraiser. And I'm sitting with the man of the hour, the man in charge of the fishing club here. The reason we're all here today is to raise money for the club.
Yep.
Welcome, Jeremiah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. And tell us a little bit about the fishing club.
Yeah, so this is our big fundraiser, the Saltwater Fishing Expo. This is our 12th time running this.
Yep. Go ahead, keep going.
And the whole point of this, our big money-making method are the raffles we do out in the commons over there. And that's going to raise money for all of the trips that we get to do. We charter, most of our trips are chartering out of some local spots out on the Osprey and the Celtic Quest in Port Jeff. We also take some charter boats out in Montauk and Orient Point. And the big thing about those is that we can take our 35, 40, 45 members and pay for them to go on free charter trips during the year and during the summer. And one of the big points for the club this year I wanted to make was to really invite new people who have never fished before and really introduce them to the art of fishing.
Right, which is great. And now the club has grown. It's gotten really, really big.
Yes,
and
yeah.
How can somebody join the club? They just got to show up to the meeting.
Just show up to a meeting, yeah.
All right, and the guys that are involved in the club already, I understand they're allowed to bring a guest on some of these charters when you go.
When if we have extra space on trips and not a lot of students in the club sign up, you can bring family members, friends outside of the school, and as long as we have space, you can bring really whoever you want.
Now, you guys don't just go out of the Celtic Quest, Port Jeff, and out of all the other boats that you go out, right? Where do you go? Where the other one was?
Orient Star.
Yeah, and
Montauk,
you guys go to
Fish,
Montauk, right. But you also do surf casting. You guys go fishing
sometimes.
from the beaches.
Yeah.
So you guys actually went out to Montauk and fished. You guys do surf fishing?
Yeah, we did that 2 years ago. Yep, surf fishing for blues. Yeah.
And what's a typical day like? Give me a day like. We're going to go out on the Celtic Quest. What are you guys going fishing for?
Yeah, so during the spring, late spring, we take those local trips out on the Osprey. And usually most of those are centered towards beginner fishermen. So those we're going to go for porgies, super beginner friendly. And then towards later in the spring, early summer, we take some striped bass fishing trips out there, and that's more intense, more for the advanced fishermen out there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what about when you head to Montauk? I mean, because it's not easy to fish from the beach.
Yeah.
And you're going to the surf casting capital of the world.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than fishing in Montauk. So you guys as a club are actually kind of lucky to head out to a place like Montauk to go do this.
Yeah.
That's epic. But does everybody have to have a surf rod? Or guys fishing with some smaller rods?
Yeah. So we get a ton of donations from the shows like this. Where he puts out some surf casting rods for free. That's Mr. Wilson, the advisor of the club.
Right, Bob Wilson.
Right, Bob Wilson. Yeah,
Big Bob. Bob, he's the reason I'm here today. Thank you, Bob. We love Bob. Bob's awesome.
Yeah. So you don't have to have your own rod. No, the club supplies that. Okay. So if you're interested, you take a surf casting trip, and we'll provide the rest for you.
Okay. And how do you promote the club within the school? Like, do you let them know? Like, how do they know to come join the club if they're into fishing?
Right, yeah. So this is actually one of the biggest ways we get new people to
This
the club
event.
is this exposition.
Yeah, you guys are all, there's 50 of you guys walking around in shirts
Yeah,
today. You know,
yeah.
that's how I saw you,
Yeah.
and everybody came over to the table, took stickers, and hopefully you guys will subscribe to the podcast. You know,
Yeah, of
now that I
course,
got
yeah,
a
for
celebrity
sure.
like you on
Yeah.
here, you know, hopefully they'll tune in and check us out every
Yeah,
week.
for
We'll
sure,
do some cool
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get you guys fishing out in my area in Huntington. You
Yeah,
know,
there we go, yeah.
No doubt,
Yeah.
because we do a lot of striped bass fishing. We're really into the bass.
Okay,
I mean, we
gotcha.
do take families out and do some bottom fishing, obviously some porgy trips, some fluke
Right,
trips.
right.
But we are, from April 15th until the end of the season, we are dialed in. We're going striped
Yeah.
bass fishing.
Yeah, I got
you
you.
know? So what's the biggest thing or the best thing you guys have caught? Like, is there a record somebody has in the club?
We don't. So a couple of years ago, for the past 2 years, we didn't do it this year, but the past 2 years we've done some competitions within the club.
Nice.
For the biggest fish, you win some good prizes. We don't really keep a record of the biggest in the club.
Right.
But per year we do biggest porgy, biggest blackfish, biggest striped bass, all those the different types of fish.
Nice.
Biggest species is going to win some nice gear.
Competitions within? Is it like a small tournament? Does anybody get a prize?
Yeah, small tournament. 2 years ago, we got some rod combos to give away to the biggest species caught. And then this last year, there was a local Long Island tournament held within multiple clubs.
Right.
Where there was gear supplied by the club hosting that cross island. But yeah, it's good fun.
And are you guys, is this high school, is it 9 to 12? Ninth grade?
It's 10 to 12. That's changing next year. They're going to move it to 9 to 12.
Okay,
but,
yeah, because a lot of them are 9 to 12.
Right,
so
yeah.
it's either 10 to 12 or 9 to 12. That's
Right.
why I ask. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the age group for the fishermen here.
Yeah.
All right, pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what else can you tell us about the club? If there's people out there that come to the high school and have not joined the club yet,
Yeah.
what do you want to tell them to how they're going to come to the next meeting? When's the next meeting?
Next meeting is going to be this coming Tuesday. Or that's actually when the senior trip is, so we might move it to the next Tuesday. But the Tuesday after the show is always one of my favorite meetings because all the gear we get donated from a ton of the vendors, we get to go through, raffle it off to the kids in the club, and everyone's going to walk away with a bunch of free stuff.
Oh, yeah,
So
no doubt.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the 50. I jumped into the 50-50 raffle here today. Usually I'm a guest here walking around. I've been coming to this show for years. I come here to stock up for my charter business because I like to buy stuff in bulk.
Yeah.
And this is a great place to
Right,
do
yeah,
it
it
at.
really
And
is,
it's,
yeah.
you got over 200 vendors here.
Right, yeah.
It's an unbelievable crowd.
Yeah.
And Bob puts on a great show here. I think this is one of I actually tell people on the podcast, this is one of the biggest fishing shows we have on Long
Yeah,
Island.
really, yeah. I would say in the tri-state even.
Yeah, I don't know because I haven't gone to any of the other shows, but
yeah.
if you
Yeah.
say that, I'm with you.
Yeah.
We were just at the boat show at the Javits Center podcasting live there, and Chris from Pelagic was the only one that had a booth selling fishing gear.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had like 6 booths there. So he's always had a nice big setup here.
Right.
Dave Flanagan's my boy over there.
Yeah.
Tom Schlichter is probably, one of my good buddies. He's an editor. I do a lot of work with him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people here that I come to see. Captain Stu and Mike from Decade and the Nautical School. You know,
Right.
I work with all these people on a close day-to-day basis, so it's great to
Yeah.
see everybody every year, and that's usually why I come to the show.
Right, yeah.
But now
Yeah.
this year I meet Jeremiah. Jeremiah's on the podcast, and we're telling everybody about the Patriots Fishing Club that they
There you
got
go.
going on here. Now, it's not a team, so they don't compete against other schools. It's just a club to entice people to get out, learn how to fish.
Exactly, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what you want to do. You want to teach a lot of new people how to fish, because once
Yeah.
you get hooked,
Yeah.
that's it. There's
That's
no
it,
going
yeah.
back.
No going back.
No, that's it. You're hooked for life. It's
Yeah.
going to cost you a lot of money. You're only going to buy a boat and move on to bigger and better things. But I got to tell you, super excited. Now, do you guys have a website or anything that they can go to promote? Is there any social media or anything you want to promote?
We do have a website, yeah. We post more on the social media. That's just Patriots Fishing. Search it up on Instagram channel.
Okay.
Patriots Fishing. As for new people joining the club, obviously our biggest enticement is the trips we take in the spring and summer, the charter trips that you can take for free. We also do have a rod building in the winter.
Nice.
Where we have blanks. You can build a rod for free. We teach you how to wrap some guides, how to put the reel seat on. So that's also something we can do during the winter, as well as bucktail tying. We do some tying, some winterizing of the gear.
Nice.
So yeah, we get it.
Yeah, I got my vise. I tie.
Yeah.
That's addicting. That's a whole nother level. Once
Yeah.
you get into that, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the trips, when are the trips? Like, when do they go? Are they on the weekends? Are they after school? When, you guys take off a day of school and actually go fishing?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
How cool
We
is
gotta.
that?
It's hard because to balance schedule with sports. A lot of our members have sports. So
Sure.
most of them are going to be 3 or 4 hours after a school day.
Okay.
Maybe like on a Tuesday or Thursday. Thankfully, we're going to be able to take a trip fly fishing in Connecticut this April, and that's going to be during spring break. So that's a good time to take a trip. But yeah.
I love fishing at Connecticut. In fact, Matt Broderick just held up a picture promoting this event with my daughter on the cover of the magazine 2 years ago.
That's great.
So she was 7 years old on the cover, standing in the river with a trout and a fly rod and a Cabela's hat on. She really played the role. So I will put a link, guys. I'll put a link in the description to this video, to his social media for the Instagram and for their webpage if you want to check it out. If you are a student here at Ward Melville High School and you want to get involved in fishing, I guess there's no better way than to come over and talk to Jeremiah and just show up to a meeting. You don't even have to ask. Just come down to the meeting. Where are the meetings held?
Room 238.
So room 238. You show up to room 238 if you want to join the fishing club. That's the best way to get involved. I can't help. I got to help promote the club.
Yeah,
I love this expo every year. This is the best. And Jeremiah, it was great meeting you here, man. I really appreciate you jumping on the podcast.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Captain Gage and Jeremiah signing off, and we'll see you next time. Catch them up, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gage on all our social media channels.